Shalom, shalom, sisters. Shabbat shalom to the sisters who will be tuning in. That will be tuning in after the live. Lord willing, sisters are having a beautiful Sabbath in the spirit. I wanted to do this live a little bit later, but I wanted to seize the opportunity while my children were acting accordingly. So, most High willing, this is going to be an edifying video. And first and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High God of Israel. Call Yahweh Hashem, Mashiach Malach Shai. It's only the mercy of the Most High that we're able to get on here. So all praises to the Most High God of Israel. Call Yahweh Hashem Shai. As you see, I don't have my partner in, not in crime, partner in blessings with me, Sister Iberia. She is currently recovering. All praise the Most High. Definitely be praying for the sister, the house of Obadiah, during this time of healing and welcoming their new addition. Lord willing, we'll be back together soon. I can't say when. We'll give an update when Iberia will be back on here. But in the meantime, it'll just be me, Lord willing. They're still going to be every 2 weeks through the Spirit. And I know it's been a minute since we did a sister chat. It's been a lot going on with tabernacles. All sister had a beautiful tabernacles through the Spirit, beautiful Day of Atonement, beautiful new moon. We can get right into it. No need to waste time. So, as y'all can see, the title of this sister's chat is "To the Sister Who Has No Talent," and it's actually false. It's false because you have a talent. You have a talent, and this one is it hits home for me because for a long time in this walk, I would be like, dang, I don't know what my talent is. Like, I'm not sure what the Most High, wants me to put my hands to be really good at and just extra ultimately just so good at this, and what sparked the reason for this lesson today is, my mom had just came into town last weekend. Yeah, last Sabbath actually. And we were talking and she was saying how, she feels like we were talking about singers and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, I'm probably butchering it, but long story short, she said like she doesn't feel like she has like any talents or anything like she's like really good at, how some people are like gifted at piano, gifted at crocheting, or really good at building, gardening, stuff like that. And I was talking to her, but also talking to myself as well. I was telling her, I was like, yeah, I felt the same way for a long time. Like I felt like, I'm just I'm just a person. I'm just here. I just kind of do regular people things. I'm not really like extra ultra talented at anything. And I was telling her that, sometimes what I come to the realization of is everything doesn't have to be tangible in order for it to be a talent. Like just because you're not, say you're the best potter, you know how to make the best cups, plates, that's a tangible item that you're making, and not to shade anybody or put anybody down that has beautiful gifts like that are tangible, they work good with their hands or they can sing really well or whatever the case may be. Those things are very beautiful too. But, also being able to relate to people, to be empathetic with people and, sharing wisdom and counsel and testimonies with people. Those are talents or gifts as well. I'm going to be using talents and gifts interchangeably today. But, yeah, having any or all of the fruits of the Spirit, that's a talent because everybody doesn't have that. Sometimes, our people, they can get kind of caught up in, dang, that sister, she could sing so good, or, oh my gosh, they're so talented. They're so, they got a poetic, voice and all this. Like, and those things are very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But, also having a beautiful spirit is a talent because everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have that. So, sometimes you gotta put forth that work, and also, go and work towards having a talent. Sometimes everything isn't always just gonna be, bloop, you just born and you just gifted and you just, no. Like, you gotta learn, be willing to get those lessons, and put forth work, set aside time if you want to be, talented in a certain area, and work on that thing until you're really good at it, until you're so talented in it, or whatever the case may be. But firstly, ultimately, you got to pray to the Most High. How about Shemel Shai? And you got to see, okay, Most High, please reveal to me, what talents I'm good at. Reveal to me what you want me to do within the ministry, and don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try new things that'll benefit not only your household, yourself, but the nation. What can I do to serve the nation, to put my brick in for you? How about Shemel Shai? Put forth, those good works. So I want to get this in Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 4. It reads, Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Then said I, Ah, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. But the Lord said unto me, Say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. So the Most High knew us before we were conceived. Before we even ended up in our mom's belly, He knew us. He knew our moms and our dads were going to be. All these things were preordained from the beginning. So He knew we come into this knowledge, come into the truth, fight to put away the flesh and that old woman. He knew all of this. And He knew that you might be wondering, dang, what are my talents? Dang, what am I really good at? I'm just kind of like coasting in this thing. I don't really know what I'm good at. But right here, we see almost I told Jeremiah not to say that he can't speak, because ultimately it's the Most High behind the scenes, and the Most High, He's the one who guides us. He's the one who shows us things and teaches us, and as we go through this thing called life. So we also got to be cognitive of how we talk about ourselves as well. So another reason why I brought this out, because you saying, just like Jeremiah was saying right here, Behold, I cannot speak, for I'm a child. You saying about yourself, I don't have any talents. Go back to what I was talking about with my mom. Oh, I don't have any talents. I'm not good at anything. You don't want to say that. You don't want to speak that over yourself, because the Most High said, "Say not, say not." And we know that, there's death and life in the power of the tongue. I'm gonna get that really quick. Proverbs 18. Because you are in fact are good at something. You're good at something. This is Proverbs 18 and 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So you keep telling yourself, and you're speaking, that you have no talents and you're not good at anything, and you just in this thing, and you just got the woe is me spirit. I'm just here. I'm just a wife. I'm just a mom. I'm just whatever the case may be. I'm just a sister in this thing. No. The Most High, first of all, you're in this truth. That's something within itself. You don't want to speak things over yourself that are negative, because those things, you're going to eat the fruit of it. Whatever you speak, it says, they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So, you got to switch up the narrative, switch up your mindset, because you are good. Most likely you're good at keeping these commandments to the best of your ability. You're good at, maybe your sister, you're good at routines. You're good at being really organized. You're good at, being a good parent, a good mother, a good teacher. You're good at having, that tongue of kindness. You got fruits of the spirit. You're good at something, good at making others laugh. You might be good cook. You might be, all these other things. You might be the mighty sister that cooked during the feast days. Everybody love the food or the baked goods, whatever it is. But, you gotta, another thing, and I was talking to Abiri about this last night, and it's the spirit because I had it in my notes too, because we were talking about like, yeah, even making other people laugh, being a comedian in righteousness, that uplifts people's spirits. That can really bring somebody out of a funk. Like, just imagine you just had the worst day ever, and you know, you just talking to a sister, chopping it up, and she start making you laugh. You forget about all the hell you just went through for even if it's just a moment. That laughter is like, they say in the world, laughter is the best medicine. And I'm gonna get that. Because being good at uplifting people's spirits, we need that. Especially in this captivity. We need that. So I'm gonna get who's like, y'all. Proverbs 17. I'll just go to the next chapter. Proverbs 17 and 22. This is Proverbs 17:22. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. So that merry heart, that because when you laughing and you're immersed, that's a merry heart. That do good like medicine, have you feeling all types of better, even if it's just for a moment. But that's what our people need in this life, especially, being oppressed in this man's system. So, definitely want to keep doing what the Most High put in your spirit to do in righteousness. The things that you are good at. You gotta seek those things out and multiply that thing. Keep keeping these laws. Keep staying in the spirit. It's not for naught. It's not for nothing. And just stay down. Let me get this in 1 Corinthians chapter 12. Just stay down and keep doing what you're supposed to do until the Most High reveals to you, what else He wants your vessel to do, to magnify His name in regards to talents. And I'm going to start this 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I'm going to start at verse 4. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. So right here, we got as many gifts. It's not just, you're sewing, cooking, cleaning. That's the only gift that sisters have. No, it's diversity of spirits. Diversity of gifts, but it's the same Spirit. So we're all trying to magnify Yahweh Shem Yahushai, most high willing. And verse 5 reads, and there are differences in administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. So whether you're just a sister that, you just have a fire spirit about you, you're nice to everybody, you make people laugh, you do this, you do that. And it might be a different sister, she's really good at crocheting. She's really good at working with her hands and making garments, or, being really good with the children, or whatever the case may be. It's different operations, but it's the same God we're working under. Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is verse 7. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal. And all these things, whatever works we're doing, as long as we're doing it in the right spirit and doing it unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that's what we do it for. That is what we're going to, most high willing, put that work in, and we're going to reap what we're going to sow. Most high willing in the kingdom. This is verse 8. For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit. So, just like me and Sister Vera was talking about, my mom, she was saying that my mom, she gives really good advice. She's really good with her words. So, you got some people, they're giving wisdom. Some people, they're giving a lot of knowledge. Verse 9, to another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the same Spirit. So look, in this context, it could be a sister, she got so much faith in the Most High. She not worried about nothing through the Spirit. Okay, that is a gift because some folks really be tripping out. They be flipping out when they go through hard times. They be like, man, their faith just don't be there like that. Every man is given their own measure of faith. That's a precept, roughly paraphrasing. And then, another to the gifts of healing. And just like we were saying earlier, that Mary Hart in the medicine, it's like a medicine. You can heal people with, uplifting people's spirits. Verse 10, to another the working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. And it's some sisters, they know different languages. They might know, Spanish. They're able to talk to Northern Kingdom that don't know English, or, any of the many languages that, our people know just due to being scattered to the four corners of the earth. But even that's a gift. Even that's a gift. But verse 11, but all these worketh that one and the self same Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. So, we're all a part of that one body, which is Yahweh Shai. And there's many parts. There's different parts. And we just went through all those parts. You got, one working miracles, one got prophecy, you got one got wisdom, knowledge, interpretation of tongues, healing, all these different things. We all make up the body of Yahweh Shai. So, we definitely got to realize that, there's different body parts. Different body parts have different functions. And they're all very much needed. What the eye do, the hands can't do. What the hands can do, the feet can't do. So it's different. It's different operations, but it doesn't make any body part less than or not as important as the others. They're very much all needed and important. And notice how none of these gifts that Paul brought out right here in this account, none of these are tangible stuff. All of this stuff was stuff that you would speak or just are in you by the same Spirit. So they're all spiritual and they're all given by Yahweh Shai. So, you might be a sister that has prophetic dreams, visions. Because we know in the scripture it says that in these times, daughters and sons, roughly paraphrasing, daughters and sons will be having, dreams and visions. We know that's how the Most High, speaks to some of us. So, you might have real good discernment. You might be able to see like, dang, this new brother or sister that just came around, I don't know, something just ain't right about their spirit. Something just, but it be the Spirit of the Most High. It turn out it be right. And then they be like, dang, sis, how did you know that sister or that brother was the Spirit of the Most High, man? Spirit of the Most High. So all these different gifts, they're all to bring us ultimately to Yahweh Shai. So sharing that wisdom, sharing that knowledge, and let me make sure my screen is still sharing. Sharing these different things, all of that is going to be notated by Yahweh Shai. How are you using your gifts? You also don't want to be that sister that, you found out what your gift is and you're just like, oh, well, you're just kind of sitting on it like, yeah, I know how to do this, and this, but you're not really putting forth that work. You just kind of idle with your gift. It's some sisters out there that don't know what they, what gifts or talents they have, but you know it and you sit on it like it's not anything important. No, you got to get up, use that thing, use it towards the ministry. And this is the BOB for gifts. The BOB definition, it reads, a favor with which one receives without any merit of his own, the gift of divine grace, the gift of faith, knowledge, holiness, virtue, the economy of divine grace by which the pardon of sin and eternal salvation is appointed to sinners. I want this one though. Grace or gifts denoting extraordinary powers, distinguishing certain Christians and enabling them to serve the church of Christ, the reception of which is due to the power of divine grace operating on their souls by the Holy Spirit. So these are great. Look, these are great gifts and talents that we can have within us. And these things are for what? To serve the church of Christ. So our talents, the things that we are really good at, we gotta, put forth our brick. Put forth our brick, help your sisters, help the congregation, help the nation. And that's how we get out of here. We gotta come back to our people, come back to loving our people, come back to, serving our people as Yahweh Shemel Shai has told us. Even Christ, he was a servant. And Christ was perfect. He wasn't out here just, oh, I know I got, the power to heal. I know I got the power to do this and that, but no, he healed, he prophesied, he was a servant. He was the best example. And I wanted to notate this right here. The transliteration for the word gifts is charisma. And when you look up charisma, sisters may or may not be familiar with it, but this is the definition: compelling attractiveness or charm that can inspire devotion in others. You got aura, you got presence, charm, personality, individuality, magnetism, or a divinely conferred power or talent. So this reminded me, like when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like kind of full circle moment, because I was telling my mom, I was like, sometimes your personality can be your talent. Like you just being a good individual, according to how much like you, having that charm, that pull with people, like you're just a people's person, as they say. You're a people's person, like you're easy to talk to, easygoing, you're not difficult to deal with. You inspire others. Look, inspire devotion in others. You inspire others to serve Yahweh Shemel Shai because they see that in you. And we're not talking about the wickedness on the left side, talking about, aura in the shop. We're not doing none of that. But, that divine power, and we know that we got power within us. Actually, let me get that in 2 Timothy, because we got power within us. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So these are not no light things. Power, love, and of a sound mind. These are things that people in the world take for granted all the time. All the time. They negate the power of love. They negate power in Yahweh Shemel Shai. They negate, having a sound mind, because who has a sound mind? Those who fear Yahweh Shemel Shai. Because the Most High, He gives us that eternal peace. So I want to get this in 1611 in Sirach. Sirach chapter. This wasn't going to be a long one. Just wanted to get on here real quick and drop that for y'all. Sirach chapter 39 and verse 33. All the works of the Lord are good, and He will give every needful thing in due season. So if you're a sister out there feeling like you don't know what to contribute to this truth, to this faith, do not fret, do not worry. Continue just working on your spirit, being that good, mighty sister through the Spirit, keeping these commandments to the best of your abilities, inspiring others, having a fire personality that is pleasing in the sight of the Most High, bringing more people to the Most High willing, and the Most High will give every needful thing in due season. The Most High will let you know, hey, this is what you've excelled at that. Now, I want you to work on this, and this is going to be your gift. this is something that you were called to do, to help this ministry. And let me get there's one last one. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 2. And it reads, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have no charity, I am nothing. So we got to remember that, you can have all these gifts at the end of the day. You can have all these gifts at the end of the day, but hey, if you don't got charity, you don't got love, you're not doing it in the right spirit, then hey, it's all for naught. We're nothing. We're nothing. So, Lord willing, this was edifying, helpful for sisters. Lord willing, sisters continue to endure. I love sisters. Have a blessed rest of y'all's Sabbath day. For those observing, continue to please the Heavenly Father. We are almost out of here. Continue to keep watch. It's a lot of things happening in the earth. Build up your faith. Remember who is in power, which is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Do not fear the things to come. Our salvation is nigh. Fumbling on the words. I'm excited. But Lord willing, sisters have a blessed rest of their Sabbath, and I'll be back here in 2 weeks. Most High willing. Shalom.